Welcome to No Worries Finance. I'm JD, and we're here to talk about debt and money issues in the hopes that one day you can be debt-free and financially flexible. Because life is a lot more chill when you have no worries in your financial life. If you're interested in seeing more videos just like this one, then hit that subscribe button below and we can take this journey together. Today's video is on the Debt Snowball and the Debt Avalanche. We're going to tackle both of these methods, how they work, and what the pros and cons of each are. Then I'll give you some recommendations and you can pick the method that works best for you. Let's start off with the Debt Avalanche. When I was in debt, this is the first method that I learned about to get out of debt. There's a lot of financial experts that recommend it. To do the Debt Avalanche, you need to write down every debt that you have in a list. You want to write down each debt, followed by how much you owe, then the interest rate of the debt, and finally the minimum payment that you need to pay on that debt each month. You can do this in an Excel spreadsheet or just on a piece of paper. Now that you have all of your debts written down in one place, you're going to make a new list. But this time, you're going to write them in a new order. You want to list the debt with the highest interest rate first. Write down all the same information, total balance, interest rate, and minimum payment required, but make sure it's the debt with the highest interest rate first. Next, write down the debt with the second highest interest rate. You then continue writing them all down, highest interest rate to lowest, until all your debts are listed. This is now the order that you're going to pay off your debts. Each month, you're going to pay the minimum payment on all of them except for the top one. The top one, you're going to throw all the extra money you can towards it. When that debt is gone, you now move to the second debt. You pay the minimum payment for everything except for the second debt. Whatever your minimum payment was for the first debt, you can now combine it with the minimum payment for the second debt. You now pay that plus whatever extra money you can pull together each month until the second debt is gone. You then combine that payment with the minimum payment for the third debt, and so on. Because your minimum payment continues to grow, you gain momentum. It's like an avalanche. By the end, you'll be paying off your final debt very quickly. The reason a lot of financial experts recommend this method is that it's the most efficient way to get out of debt. By following the Debt Avalanche, you'll pay off your debt in the shortest amount of time and pay the least amount of interest. You save time and money, so that's great. So the question is, why doesn't everyone just use the Debt Avalanche? Why are there other methods? The answer is that we are human. The Debt Avalanche can be hard, and depending on the size of your individual debts, it can take a long time before you see any progress. We're emotional creatures, and psychologically, the Debt Avalanche can be a tough road to take, even if it will be faster in the long run. Enter the Debt Snowball. This method is very similar to the Debt Avalanche, except when you list out your debts, you're going to list them from smallest total balance to the largest balance. Completely ignore what the interest rates are for the debts. You just want the smallest debt first. This is the order that you're going to pay off your debts. You use the same technique as the Avalanche, only pay minimum payments on all your debts, and then throw extra money at the first one on the list until it's paid off. Once again, combine that minimum payment with the minimum payment of the second debt, and then throw everything you have at the second debt until it's gone, and so on. Some people prefer the Debt Snowball because it gives you small wins. It can be grueling paying off debt sometimes, and by listing your debts smallest to largest, you'll get some wins sooner. It can be a great feeling to pay off a debt, and that can provide extra motivation when it happens. So psychologically, the Debt Snowball can be easier to stick to because you're getting that motivation boost much sooner. The trade-off here is that overall, it will take you longer to pay off your debts than with the Debt Avalanche. And because you're not paying off the highest interest rates right away, you'll end up paying more money in interest. Now, which one do I recommend? I've tried both of these methods at different points in my debt journey. I originally started with the Debt Avalanche, but after a couple of years, switched to the Debt Snowball. From my experience, I would highly recommend the Debt Snowball. When I ordered my debts by interest rate initially, I was paying extra towards a very large debt. And while the balance was slowly going down, it never really felt like I was making much progress because all the debts were still there. When I switched to the Snowball method, I was able to pay off the smallest debt within a few months. And paying off that first debt was a great feeling that, it really inspired me to keep going and reignited my determination. By following the Snowball method, it took longer and cost me more in interest than if I had stuck to the Avalanche method. But honestly, I don't know if I'd be out of debt today if I had stuck to the Avalanche. It was so mentally trying that I really don't know if I would have been able to stick to it with the same motivation and focus. Those little small wins of paying off the small debts made a huge difference. Ultimately, it's up to you which method you use. If you're able to separate your emotions from the process and just go full-on robot mode, then the Avalanche may be great for you and get you out of debt faster. But overall, I prefer and recommend the Debt Snowball.